Hi folks, today I have for us another frauditor getting trespassed from a bus depot. But before we start today's video, as always, a big thank you to all my current and new subscribers and channel members. Without your guys' continuous ongoing support, I couldn't keep the channel going, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. Also, if you could for me, please subscribe to the page, turn on the notification bell, leave a like and comment because it helps me with the algorithm, and please consider becoming a member. Not only is it a great way to show support for me, but also helps the channel out as well. With all that being said, let's enjoy today's video.
The city of Lacey, Thurston County, Washington State, heading to the North Thurston School District Service Center. It's directly ahead there. And that service center is where they service buses and other equipment for the school district. So I got tips and leads that this place has had some serious issues with really dilapidated buses and other equipment that kids interact with. Right on.
And where did you get this lead from? Out of your ass? Because more than likely, that's where you got this lead. Because everyone here knows you're not there to conduct any actual journalistic endeavors. You're not there to gather content for a story. You're not there to do any actual form of journalism. You're there to fraud it. Because you know you can get a better reaction from the staff and from law enforcement if you go to where public school buses are being held, where the possibility of staff and maybe even students could have an interaction that would get the encounter you are so desperately craving.
Or somehow interact with. Excuse me. Hi. Hey, I had a question for you. I'm working on something about some buses or other equipment that are supposedly like really dilapidated and kind of dangerous. Does that sound familiar at all to you?
No.
Like really run down, rusty, that kind of thing. Things that, you know.
They would never let us to operate vehicles.
You know, honestly,
like
I kind of just, my gut told me that, but I recently got several emails basically saying that they're concerned about the kids being on buses and stuff like that. So I thought,
you're lying.
I'll look into it. I'll see. It honestly kind of sounded weird, and you know, looking around at the nature of the buses, they seem like they're in pretty good condition.
Oh yes, all the buses are in good condition. Our team inside with the mechanics, they are great. If there's any issues, we can go to them anytime, and they take care of things real quick.
Cool. Okay. Well, hey, I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Good. How you doing, man?
Good.
Good.
How you doing? I'm Duran.
Yeah, Steve.
Steve, nice to meet you. What are you up to today?
Just working on a story, actually.
Okay. Did you get permission to be here on property, school property?
No, I came in on the gate on the other side. There wasn't any signage that said couldn't be here.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a known thing. You know, we don't want you to get hurt for your safety.
Oh, so. Yeah, that's why I'm standing back here.
All right, so yeah, but I'm going to have to ask you if you wouldn't mind going out to the public road out there. I think that'd be a little safer for your safety and for everyone else here. You know, kind of, no one knows you're here, so it's kind of stranger danger. You know, sometimes we have kids around here, so if you want to, you know, come and take pictures, that's totally fine, but I think we need to get you to get permission first, you know? So I'm gonna ask you to go and step out on the main road there if you wouldn't mind.
I guess I'm just a little confused, like what's making this not okay to be here?
So, because...
Are you serious? Are you an employee there? Are you a member of the school board? You're not. You're an idiot with a camera trying to film. You made up this thing about, oh, dilapidated buses. As we can clearly see when you walked in, none of those buses are that old. And none of them show any signs of wear and tear or severe damage like you claimed. And the equipment that the kids would play on or use? Come on, you need to go to the school grounds for that. Now, you have been asked by this gentleman who is a member of staff here to leave. And if you refuse, you could be facing grounds of criminal trespassing in the first degree in Washington.
Like I said, we don't know who you are. You can say your name is Steve. We have kids here all the time. You just can't walk into a school. We have kids here too. So again, I'm going to ask you one last time. If you don't move, I'm going to call 911. If you wouldn't mind stepping over there, please.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to call the police, I just think that's kind
I'm totally going to do that right now because
Okay.
I don't think it's cool for you to stand here.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm working on a story about supposedly some dilapidated buses that are danger to people.
Yep, so can you please just step out there for me real quick and we can talk about it?
There's no signage anywhere. Can you point to some signage?
So now I'm a school district employee and I'm trying to keep you safe. I'm trying to keep our district safe here.
That's why I'm standing over here.
So again, we have kids here sometimes, and so I don't know who you are. Hi, my name is Duran Bozeman. Hello. Hi, I'm at 6620 Carpenter Road at the bus barn. I'm here and there's a man named Steve here that is here on district property. He won't leave. He has a camera here. He's saying he's taking pictures of dilapidated buses. I've asked him nicely about 3 or 4 times now to go to the main road and we can talk. Yes, I'm an employee here. I'm the supervisor. My name is Duran. Yeah. And again, Duran, D-E-R-O-N. And his name is Steve. He has a body cam and a couple cameras here. He's on school property. I've asked him to leave a couple times because, you know, we have students here sometimes and we just can't have people that we don't know taking pictures of buses here without, you know, getting cleared first. I'm okay with him standing here, but that goes above me. And I've asked him a couple times and he won't leave. I appreciate it. Sure, yeah. He's a Caucasian male. He's got a mask and he's got a hat. I'm bad with ages, but I'm gonna say he's about 45, 50.
Damn, man, I'm 30.
He's 30, sorry about that, man. He's got glasses on, a mask, blue jeans.
Well, listen to that description. Hat, mask, sunglasses. You know, I would expect that from a frauditor, but a journalist? No. Oh, wait. I misspoke. Because he's not a journalist. A true journalist wouldn't hide their appearance. They would be open and forward with who they are unless they were going on an undercover investigation. But you've clearly told them what your investigation is, who you are, and why you're there. So why hide your appearance unless you're trying to avoid anything that would take a photo so they can have it for when they formally trespass you?
No, it's kind of like a mask that you to keep your neck warm, you know, in the winter.
It's honestly a little chilly to me.
Yeah. Blue jeans, a green like windbreaker jacket, gray shoes.
Apologies for this interruption, but I'm going to jump ahead to when he's done with dispatch because he does give out his cell phone and there's further discussion on what he is wearing and what this particular frauditor is wearing. And I feel that is just hindering to just the timing of the video.
Hey, so while I got you, and you said your name's Gerard?
So I think because, again, we've had a conversation now about I want to keep you safe, I want to keep the bus driver safe here.
Yeah.
We have students here. I have no idea who you are.
Yeah, sure.
I think our conversation's done now. I think I'm just going to wait for law enforcement to get here.
Okay. Well, like I said, I was just wanting to mostly get information about these buses. I asked the lady over there that was washing off one of the buses, and she said she was surprised to hear that there would be any concerns over dilapidated buses, but I got some tips and leads that was saying that was the case.
Can you call Ben and let him know that I have a situation out here with on our property that won't leave? Yep, I've already called 911. I'm back by the flesh wash. Law enforcement's on the way. Okay, bye.
Well, if you don't want to, talk, I totally get that. That's your right, of course. I'm gonna finish gathering my footage. So, you want to walk with? I wouldn't mind the company at all. See, this is what I wanted to point out over here. This is where I came in, and I didn't see anything over here that says don't enter. So I guess I'm just a little confused about that. Once I walked right by it. See? That's kind of what you see what I'm saying? There's literally nothing here. And there's a towing sign. You know, I'm not, like I said, I don't have any ill will. I'm not trying to create a problem here. I'm just saying, like, I'm here to work on a story, and I enter in from an area that doesn't seem to have any restrictions on entering. So, are there restrictions on entering at other entrances? Not so much. Okay. Now, are you a supervisor?
I am. I'm the assistant director. Who are you?
My name's Steve. I'm here working on a story, and when I approach the facility, there's nothing that restricts access.
So are you a reporter?
I am.
For what organization?
Well, I don't want to share that now. I'm an investigative journalist.
Well, can you do me a favor? You can't record me then.
Well, what makes you think that?
Because I don't know who you are. I don't know if you're a terrorist or if you're
hold on
scoping
a
out the
minute.
area here to...
This guy is very professional and nice. You're taking this on a totally different level right now.
He does have a fair point. He doesn't know who you are. You could be a journalist, but you could also be a criminal. You could be a terrorist, as he's saying. However, if you were a true investigative journalist, you wouldn't need to have to hide your identity, because many investigative journalists do share their identities. A personal favorite of mine is Rob Walchik from Fox out of Detroit, who is an investigative journalist who's covered Consumer Reports and people who are considered being scam artists. And also, if he told you you don't have permission to use his likeness in the footage of your story, he could sue you if you did use his likeness without his permission, because he did not sign a consent form.
I don't know who you are.
Yeah, but you don't, I mean, you're entitled to your First Amendment for free speech to say things.
But how do I know that you're a reporter?
Let's not start going down the point.
You're not trying to scope out the area.
Defaming and slandering here, okay?
Hey, I don't know who you are.
That's where civil suits start, okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's be clear about that.
I'll be real clear.
Okay? He's already called 911.
I'll be real clear.
So what I'm wanting to know is, what is exactly restricting access to this facility? So anyways,
if you were legit, all you had to do is come here and we'd gladly show you around. But we don't know who you are. That's the problem. We have a lot of, if you let me hear me out for just a sec.
Go ahead. Yeah.
We have a lot of entities that come here, and for whatever reason, they can come out here and do a thing for the community, a positive thing regarding drivers, the bus barn, maintenance, whatever the case may be. Private citizens may come out here inquiring about whatever the issue is. Gladly would show you guys around if that was the case, but I don't know who you are. And we also have a community department through the PR stuff and all that we can work through as well. So again, I don't know who you are. I don't know if you're here on a good note or a bad note. Just walking on anybody's property, video and stuff. I don't know what your motive is, if it's a positive note or if it's a negative note. And when I say terrorist, how do I know that you're not casing the place out to do harm? I don't know that.
Well, I've
that's
heard,
where I'm coming from.
I've heard what you've said, and I understand what you're saying, but
you're hiding your face.
You don't have anything, a little chilly out.
You don't have anything on there that says media. You're outside, so it isn't like you're going to get me sick. So.
Hold on. It's my own media company, first of all. So which agency, what departmental agency for the government issues press credentials? There are none. It's the companies that do it themselves.
But they say who they are.
Yeah. I don't need to identify. You work for the government, right?
I work for the public.
Yeah. It's a government agency. It's the school district.
Yes.
Okay. I have a Fourth Amendment against you.
I have a Fourth.
Shenanigans.
No.
Shenanigans.
No.
And we have even bigger shenanigans than we ever thought of at this point. Wow. Okay. You're starting to say that him asking for who you are is a violation of your Fourth Amendment. He's not asking for he's not conducting any unreasonable search or seizure of your person. He's not sticking his hand in your pocket and removing your wallet. He is simply asking who you are. And if you were true press, you would go through, the community department and go through their press and media departments as well. Instead, you want to go and do it your way because you're not a journalist. You want to go and say, well, I am a journalist because I have my own YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel too. I'm not press. I call myself a news network, but I am not news. Neither are you.
Amendment to?
Yeah. Now, if the police show up and ask you for ID, yes. But
So,
what I'm saying
so if
is
I
this.
take this off and I go on my break and take my vest off,
Yeah, now
I'm not working.
Now you're not working. Exactly. Okay.
I'm on break.
So my whole point is this: you don't have to ID.
So please don't.
You don't
video
have to
me.
ID me.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
not
need to
asking
ID
for
you.
I'm not an officer. I'm not asking for ID. I'm
You're
asking
a government
who you're
employee.
from.
And now that you're a citizen, why would I ID to a citizen?
So why wouldn't you?
Because I don't want to. I'm a private person. While I'm at work.
Because you're hiding something. In most cases, you're hiding something. Or you're doing something illegal.
Well.
Yes.
No, that's not the case. That's
I
a
don't know.
supposition.
I don't know. What
But
makes
I don't
me
need
believe
to.
otherwise?
I don't need. It's not my responsibility to quell your
But
concerns.
who are you? Who are you?
I'm
a
an
good guy or a
investigative
bad guy?
journalist.
What are you investigating?
I think he said his name is Gerard. I was telling Gerard that I got tips and leads that there were condition issues with buses.
Okay.
But the first one, honestly, I rarely ever take those kinds of situations or tips and leads seriously because it's just one. But after I got several, basically saying that there was a belief that there were condition issues that were unsafe for children on the buses.
Do you know what they are?
Yeah, supposedly
What
there's
the
like
allegation is?
floorboard, like rusting issues and stuff that like was feeling weak and that kind of stuff. So
What's your name, Steve?
Yeah.
So here's what I said. If I was working right now and not being on break, all you had to do was come in and ask, and we would have gladly showed you the buses and given you the opportunity
And
to
here's the
scope it.
case. That
But
may,
you're doing it secretively.
That may be the case with the Thurston County School District, right? Or the North Thurston School District.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that may be the case. However, I cannot tell you how many times I've gone to investigate certain issues where, earlier in my career, you give them advance warning, and what happens? It gets cleaned up.
Whatever.
This guy's making a valid point. They don't know who you are. You could just be saying you're a journalist and hoping to possibly film something that you shouldn't be filming. How they know you're even allowed to be within a school if you don't tell them who you are? I am not accusing you of anything in particular, Mr. Frauditor, but I am saying their concerns are justified. How do we know that you're not stalking an employee? How we know you're not a disgruntled former employee looking to do harm or damage to the school board itself? These are all valid questions that could be resolved if you simply told them who you are.
Whatever happened about...
They remove the things that are there, so then when you show up...
If I
there's
may,
nothing
Steve?
there. Yeah.
Whatever happened to just coming to the front door, identifying who you were, why you were there, and asking?
Well,
for
because
permission?
there's no restriction on accessing this facility.
But I'm saying, why not just come ask?
Because there's no restriction.
If you're all about getting the truth and working for the media and all that,
Yes, it's
about getting the
capturing
truth,
it in the moment.
how about just come and ask?
Well, because sometimes people put up roadblocks.
We're not
and
some people.
Okay, look, and I appreciate what you're saying. I mean,
We're
you guys
North
may be
Thurston
the
Public
most
Schools.
fantastic. Yeah, you guys may be the most fantastic school employees ever.
Jeez.
You guys may be the worst. I don't know.
We're
And
not
I
the
have
worst.
To, I
We're
have
the
to
best.
treat it
We're the
as
best.
if when I show up, you guys are going to have something to hide.
Well, that's
and
sad.
so I try to catch. Well, I
That's
know.
sad
and,
for you.
And
That's sad for you.
unfortunately, the bar by others who have done bad things and have been eventually caught in hiding that stuff.
Well,
get exposed.
we have nothing to hide. Nothing to hide whatsoever.
I mean, look at what happened in Auburn with the cocaine that was found on an elementary playground. What did the school district try to do there? They tried to hide it because they didn't want to make it look bad for the board of directors in an election year that cocaine was found by an 8-year-old.
How would they even accept responsibility for that to begin with?
Because they have security for the grounds and it shouldn't have been there. Security should have caught it and they should have been doing more to prevent this kind of stuff from happening so an 8-year-old doesn't get a hold of a bag of cocaine.
Right, yeah.
Well, that's quite shocking and disturbing to hear. But I did verify that, yes, what this frauditor said is true. A elementary student did find a vial of cocaine, and the sad part is the elementary school student did taste it. Now, they did find 2 more vials on this particular playground. However, his argument that security should have stopped it can't be there 24/7. And if somebody was to happen to jump that fence who wasn't supposed to be there, or go onto the grounds who shouldn't have been there, could have dropped it or left it there for somebody to pick up. Therefore, the employee's argument is also valid. Why couldn't you have come in? So that way, if something was to happen in this type of situation, they would know who has all been there on the property, and they can question them.
Well, I hear you.
Right? I mean,
I
come
hear you.
on. That's what we pay. That's what we pay taxes for. I'm not saying that's you guys. I want to be clear about that. But what I'm saying is I got enough tips and leads, several, that said their condition issues.
Steve, all you had to do was come ask. That's all you had to do.
And I don't know how it's going to turn out.
That's all you had to do was
Since there's no
ask.
restriction on access to this facility, why would I do that?
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Just because of your prior experience with people, do you always, how do you put it? Do you always assume that people aren't going to cooperate with you?
I trust but verify. And
Okay, well,
verify
how do you
is not
verify if
asking
you don't
permission.
ask?
Because verifying isn't asking permission for giving time to cover up issues. That's the whole point of a free press.
You're tap dancing. You're walking around in a circle.
The whole
is what
point of
you're
a free
doing.
press is to go and freely exercise the liberty
But
of press.
ask.
No,
All you got to do is
it's
ask
not
people.
freedom if you ask, man. That's not how it works.
Why isn't it?
That should be pretty self-evident.
So if I ask you a question and you're trying to hide something, you're probably going to lie to me, right?
Depends on what it's about.
And I'm probably going to know that right off the bat.
Depends
But
on
if
what
I
it's
ask
about.
you a question, I already know the answer or a reason why I'm there to ask a question, and I ask you and you either have no idea what I'm talking about or you do, are you not going to tell by the way I react to your question if I'm lying or if I'm trying to deceive you or if I'm trying to not answer the question? Kind of like you're doing?
Boom. Roasted.
Well, I think you're conflating two separate issues.
You can put it however you want.
You're using a
Truth is truth.
Well, no,
Truth
that's
is truth.
really not the case in this situation.
Well,
You're
I don't
using
know.
a supposition, a presupposition.
You can throw out all
To
these
log-
fancy words you want. It's just, it makes no sense.
It absolutely makes sense.
It makes no sense.
You're using a presupposition to articulate that there is something that is nefarious about my desire to work on this story freely.
All you had to do was ask.
No, that's not true.
All you had to do.
That's not true.
My boss, Ben Elkins, assistant director. This is the gentleman, Steve, that was the coffee that I called about. I asked him to leave a couple of times and he refused.
Okay. Well, let me chat with Steve for a minute.
Yep.
How's it going, Sergeant? Is it Sergeant Haynes?
No, Corporal Haynes.
Oh, Corporal. Sorry.
So, what's going on?
I'm working on a story.
Okay. And you're a reporter?
I'm an investigative journalist. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What I tried to show, I think his name is Gerard, the gentleman in the red sweater shirt right there.
Okay.
What I was trying to show him is, there's no restriction on access to this place.
Okay.
So,
you're talking about with the postings or fence being closed?
I came
or
over
whatever?
here. I got tips and leads that there were condition issues with some of the buses. I'm assuming by parents.
Okay.
I didn't really inquire into their nature of relationships with kids, but they basically said, hey, I've got concerns. There's some buses that got some real rust issues, like on the floorboard and that kind of stuff. And they're basically saying it's like kind of bouncy, cracking, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So after I got several, I thought, yeah, I'll come here and check it out and, see if that's really the case.
Now, as a true journalist, did you verify your sources? Because it's best to verify each one of your sources, because if not, you could be getting false information and making a fool of yourself and putting out false news. Now, as a frauditor, we know you didn't verify your sources because you made them up. There's no story here. All those buses look to be new or fairly new. And, well, I'm willing to bet you're just coming here just so you can get a reaction from law enforcement so you can have a good video like you do with all of your...
And, obviously there's signs that say, hey, we're recording you. Well, fair enough. It's a government.
Well, do not enter and...
Well, that's a...
But
that's a traffic
I get it.
thing.
So you want to see the buses is the idea, right?
Yeah, and I was in the midst of it. Probably only had about another 15 minutes to gather content, and Gerard there showed up and said, you can't be here. And I'm like, what's restricting access? It's a publicly available public space.
Okay. Well, so I'll go talk to them. Is there still something you want to see with the buses, or?
Yeah, really what I need to do, and it was, I picked the time that I did to show up because a lot of the buses were coming in, so I'm standing off on a green, kind of like, like off area, kind of like off to the side, because I don't want to get hit by a bus.
Okay.
And basically it was a good time to catch these buses coming in, the active buses in work. Seeing if these buses have condition issues. Conducted a brief interview with one of the employees that was washing one of the buses, that kind of thing, just to see what's going on and see if really there's issues with kids being put at jeopardy for poor condition buses, which is, I think, definitely newsworthy, journalism to get to the bottom of. So, yeah,
look, just so you understand, I don't care if you want to see the buses or anything. I'm not here to limit any of that. It does have to be arranged with the school district if you want to see buses or get on buses or whatever. I'll go talk to them about that and see if that's something they can facilitate now, or if you need to arrange for it later on.
Well, I need to clarify something. So are you saying, based on what you're going to go talk to them about, that
this facility is not open for people to just walk around the buses, because that wouldn't be safe, and I'm sure you understand that. They can't just have random people up wandering around past the buses.
What's informing you of that?
You can, well, it's fenced. The entire thing is fenced
and open.
Okay.
So if you have a fence around your property and it's open, does that mean I have permission to come in there and use your lawn for a barbecue? Or if you have a pool, swim in it without your permission? No, it doesn't. Because you have a fence and it's private property. Well, this is school board property. You're not authorized to be there. If you would have gone in through the entrance and gone through the proper channels, you could have been there. You could have been allowed to be there. Instead, you went through an exit, made up some fictitious story about you being pressed to go investigate this place, and have been told multiple times by a supervisor of the property to leave.
So I'm not going to argue that with you. I'm just telling you that it's not open to the public to just wander around the buses. I'm going to go check with them and see if they can accommodate what you need now, or how they want that arranged. Well, and that way you'll know.
That's simply not going to work in any way, shape, or form.
That's.
I mean, you can ask them obviously whatever you want. It's your First Amendment, but that's not going to work.
Okay.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
Yeah.
You got a business card, by the way, Mercer?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks. Man, you know what? I like this temperature band. What I don't like is the moisture in the air. It makes it 30 times worse, or 30% worse.
Yes.
Honestly, that's the worst part of it.
So you're trying to do some kind of story or something, huh?
Yeah, I got tips and leads that there is a condition issue with buses, supposedly like floorboard issues that are kind of like rusting out. They're kind of like bending, warping, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Why must you turn my office into a house of lies?
And that it's basically allegedly unsafe for some of the kids. So I came here right at that time when they're pulling in, because it's a perfect time to catch those buses actually as they're in motion, moving and capturing it, and then seeing the rest of the fleet, so I can really see, is there like low-lying rust issues along the sides of the bus and that kind of thing. And unfortunately, Gerard over there, the guy in the red shirt, said not allowed to be here. But I'm like, when I came in, I mean, there's a video surveillance sign. I mean, there's a traffic sign that says do not enter, but that's just for traffic purposes. So I'm just like, I came back out here, not because I was trying to leave, but I wanted to show Gerard that there's actually nothing that prohibits access to the public. I mean,
other than the signs, you mean?
Well, there are no signs. I mean, there's a traffic sign, but we all know that's a traffic sign for do not enter.
Right, so you can't enter.
No, that traffic, that's a vehicle sign.
No, that's do not enter, period.
No, that, you and I both know, if you look in the traffic manual for
Department of Manual?
Yeah, for the Department of Motor Vehicles, Department of Licensing, when you take the test, that is not for personnel, that's not for pedestrians, that's a traffic sign.
On private property.
This isn't private property, it's public property.
Yes, traditionally, do not enter signs are meant for roadways. However, the officer is correct. If you put a do not enter sign on property, it could also be used to tell people not to enter the property as well. As long as they have other occurring signs for the curtilage of the property telling that trespassing or restricted areas are on the property, that sign still can be enforced. Also, I'll be cutting out a segment where he puts in a small photo that takes up a few seconds of framing that he was on school board property.
Okay.
It's school district.
That's what you're disagreeing with.
Yeah, it's school district property. I mean, it's public property.
So you're arguing that it's public, and they're saying, no, this is private property. That's why it's fenced and gated. Signs saying do not enter and that kind of stuff. I get it. Yeah. It's an argument. It's an argument.
Well, yeah, and we're disagreeing about that. I mean, I don't think anybody, when they look at that and they look up in, like I said, the OL testing for driver's licenses and whatnot. That's not for pedestrians. The signs that they have for do not enter for pedestrians say authorized, no unauthorized personnel or authorized personnel only, you know, something along those lines. It basically instructs people afoot that they cannot enter this place. So obviously, you know, they've got like video surveillance signs. Fair enough. If the gate was closed, I'm not going to pole vault over it.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Steve, can I get your information real quick?
I can't give that to you. Yeah.
Okay. So I've got a phone number. I can jot it down for you, and that's how you arrange to see the buses. Let me grab a card.
I do have a question for you because it's really important about my next steps in my conducting my story for the day. So are you saying I'm trespassed from this location?
No. What I'm telling you is that if you go back here, you will be trespassed.
I'll be arrested.
And that can result in you being arrested. The public is not allowed, without contacting the district, to just come in and wander around the area where the buses are, where they could have students that are here for various reasons. The same as a school. If you walk into the school, you can go into the office. You can't just wander the hallways. And this is a school facility. So it's the same kind of thing. There's a gate that you can access their office here, but these people wouldn't schedule you to come do a news story or check up on that. It's their community relations department that would, and I have a phone number for them. Let me grab my card.
Well, hold on.
And that way you've got it.
I'm confused though still about something, which is you're impeding my free press liberties right now.
No.
You're telling me there's something that instructs you as a police officer that I can't be here. What is
this
that?
facility is not open for you to just wander through. You haven't identified yourself. You said that you're with the press. Nobody knows that. Okay. So you haven't gone through any of the normal channels to contact the district. So you can't just wander through the property.
What I'm asking you though is what is instructing you as a police officer that I don't have the ability to be here?
Answer my
question.
Law?
Well, there doesn't have to be a law, but in this case, the staff who are running this facility have told you that you are not welcome there and you cannot be there, and they asked you multiple times. You did technically go through a gated area, which you shouldn't have gone through. You should have gone through the main entrance, but we're not going to count that against you. What we're going to count against you is the fact that you were told multiple times to leave the property and that you are not. That can be considered trespassing. And in Washington State, it does state if you enter unlawfully or remain on the property or inside of a building, you can be found guilty of criminal trespass in the first degree.
Do you want that phone number?
I'm not interested in that. What I'm interested in knowing is, as a public servant, you're here to help me just like you are them, right? Is that true?
This is not open to the public to wander through.
What is leading you to conclude that?
The same thing that would lead anybody to conclude that they're not allowed to just wander.
Social norms aren't laws.
Social property.
Social norms are not laws, okay?
It's posted on the front that it's a... They just told me that it's posted. Go out there and you can take a look.
Whoa, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. So you're telling me, Corporal Haynes, that inadequate signage at a lawful entrance point is prohibiting me.
I'm not going to get into an argument with you. I'm just going to tell you.
Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to impede my civil liberties because you're choosing a side and who gets application of the law and who doesn't.
I'm not going to argue anymore with you over it. Do you want the phone number?
Well, no, I already said I don't want the phone number.
I'll provide you with that.
What I'd like is actually good public service. I get that you're saying you're going to arrest me if I enter back in there.
I don't have anything else I can pass on to you. All you're doing is arguing with me about it. You understand clearly.
What I'm trying to do is actually have you honor your oath and actually stand up for my liberties just as much as you would for them. I would like a supervisor, please.
And I would like $1 million and 20 mansions, but that's not going to happen anytime soon, darling. So we're going to jump ahead to where he goes downtown to file a complaint on this officer for enforcing the laws and telling him he could not go back on the property without going through property.
Hi, how can I help you?
Hello. I am looking to see if I can speak with a supervisor.
Okay, like a patrol supervisor or what kind of supervisor?
Well, I really don't know how it would work for the supervisor. I just had a really unfortunate encounter while I was working on a story by a corporal and another officer. And I think what they did wasn't actually correct. I need to have that action reversed so I can actually go back to doing my job.
Okay, so hold on just 1 second.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Hi. You want to talk to a supervisor? Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to basically get a trespass revoked so I can get back to my job.
Okay, and why don't you tell me about what's going on?
Yeah, so I went over to the North Thurston, I'll call it the school district transportation hub where all the school buses are. Went there working on a story about condition issues with buses. Supposedly there were some like rust issues and stuff, making the floorboards of the buses dangerous. So I went there to get some B-roll, maybe A-roll footage. And I was approached by a guy named Gerard, said I can't be there. I walked him over to where I entered. There is no restrictions on access to that facility whatsoever, at least where I entered. Corporal Haynes alleges that there is a sign somewhere else. It has nothing to do with where I entered and what I was doing. So in the end, Corporal Haynes trespassed me.
Okay.
I'm looking to have that revoked so I can get back to my job. There's no restrictions to that place. I mean, that's just the
well, the school district can determine who goes back into the transportation area and who can't. And so it's actually at the request of the district transportation office that you be asked not to leave. So we don't just arbitrarily revoke trespass orders. It would have to come from the district telling us that they revoke it.
Okay. But what I'm confused about, and unfortunately Corporal Haynes was just incredibly rude when I tried to get assistance from him. I asked him, as far as I know, you guys provide service to everybody. It's not just one, and one side. It looks like he was absolutely picking a side to win in this situation. When the trespass statute in section 105 is really clear, it requires a police officer, if they're provided evidence by any of the parties involved, to have to take that into consideration.
So you were told by the school board staff to leave that facility. You chose not to. They called the cops. The cops told you, if you go back there, they will arrest you for trespassing. It sounds like they did their job, but they didn't do the job you wanted them to do, which was to let you continue your frauditing.
Officer Mercer said the traffic sign, which says do not enter, was somehow a pedestrian sign. That's not true. It's for vehicles. It's a one-way entrance or exit point. So when I went to enter, there's no signs that say authorized personnel only, no trespassing, nothing like that.
Okay.
It's public property.
Did they verbally tell you they don't want you back in that area that you were in?
Yeah.
Okay, then that's the notice to you, that you are not allowed to be back there.
My point is that just like you couldn't tell me to not be here.
Well, this lobby is open to the public.
And that place is open to the public.
It's not. Once you go back behind their gate into their fenced area, they have the right to say that this place is not open to the public and we want you to leave.
Sure, past time, place, manner restrictions.
So where it stands now, the district has to be the one to revoke their request to not allow you back there. And I'm sure there's other ways that you can go about getting the information through public disclosure and through their PIO.
What I'm trying to get to is, so the 115 section of the trespass statute requires me, even though you can give an oral, it's absolutely lawful for you to give an oral or written trespass notice.
Sure.
There's, literally by statute on that document, if you go to 9852-115, it's not in your pocketbook, so you actually have to go to the legislature's website for this. The statute says in that section there's 10 things that those people must attest to.
Right.
They didn't attest to those.
Okay.
So how is it a lawful trespass?
It's a lawful trespass because you're not in an area that's permitted open to the public.
How do you know that?
And they can ask you to leave, because when he contacted you, he said this area is not open to the public and you need to leave.
But my point is,
and so I can't sit here and argue law with you all day long.
Sergeant, what I'm trying to tell you is, what I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to get assistance here.
Right.
It's really annoying and frustrating that you guys are trying to jam up my ability to do my job.
They're not trying to jam up anything. They are doing their job. Your job is not a job. Yours is a hobby, technically. We're ending the video here. The trespass is withheld, and he does not get to go back there unless he gets that trespass revoked from the school district. If you guys like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a like and a comment because it helps me with the algorithm. And if you can, please consider becoming a member. With all that being said, be well, be safe, and I'll see you guys next time. A special thank you to all members of the news team. Without your guys' continuous ongoing support, I can keep the channel going. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.